Welcome back to In Pursuit of Magic, where we explore the things that inspire us, connect us, and the magic we find along the way. I'm Matthew Medina, and today's very special guest is an actor, dancer, singer, writer. The list goes on because she keeps flexing new skills. She starred in projects such as Vida, In the Heights, Abigail, the upcoming Black Tides, The Copenhagen Test, and is currently starring as Rose Dewitt Bukater in Titanique on Broadway. She's also one of my favorite humans. Please welcome the incredible Melissa Barrera. Melissa, thank you so much for being on. I'm very excited to have you.
Thank you so much for the invite. I'm excited to be here.
Of course, we have so much to dive into, and I know you're living your dream right now. There's a lot of magic in that. And so I'm curious about the first things that inspired you to become a performer. I've heard a lot about kind of your interests from a young age, and even like going to an audition with family for The Sound of Music. So
Right.
what was that like and being inspired and wanting to be on stage?
I I think I became the first seeds that were planted for my wanting of being a performer happened in school. Um in the American school that I went to in Mexico, we always had good theater programs, or not even theater programs, like the arts were encouraged, and we always had teachers that loved theater and that would, do the school plays or the school musicals. And so I was a sports girl. I just played basketball my whole life, and that was kind of my focus. But when I started seeing my classmates in theater, in school, going to see the shows, there was like a part of me that like always wished that I would dare to audition and be on stage with them. Um, and I didn't really until sixth grade, I think. Sixth grade, I was like 11 or 12. And that was the first time that I auditioned for a play. It was Orpheus, actually. Um, and then after that, I just kind of fell in love. And I would seek out theater, to go see theater either in my hometown or close by. Like I made my mom drive us to, I think it was Dallas, to see the Wicked national tour. I once convinced my mom to let me and three friends drive on a school night to McAllen because the non-equity tour of Rent was going to be playing in like McAllen. And so I was always seeking to see theater, and I loved how it made me feel. And so then I think I just wanted to be a part of that, and I wanted to make people feel that way, which is, like it made me feel good, it made me feel connected, it made me feel less alone. And so I wanted to pass that along.
It's amazing that from such a young start, you just had this calling towards it, and it felt like it was always around you and just pulled you in more and more until you kind of answered that call. And of course, things end up lining up, and I feel like everything happens for a reason and when it's supposed to happen. But along the way, like anyone chasing a dream, there's obstacles, there's closed doors, there's no's, there's no responses. There's a lot of that in anyone's journey. And so I'm curious, when those moments come up for you, how do you manage them?
Um, I mean, it's always hard. Rejection is hard, but it's so intrinsic to this career that it just feels like it's part of the journey. And I feel like with every no that I get hungrier for that yes. And so when you finally get a yes, it's like the highest high. There's like nothing like it. And I think working in this industry and maybe a lot of a lot of industries, you kind of have to figure out how to navigate the in between project moments, because it's the in betweens that really can make or break you. It's the reason that a lot of people give up, because they can't handle those lows where you're not on a job, where you're not getting paid, where you're not living your dream or feeling like you're being creative, or or feeling fulfilled. So um I think, yeah, I think it's I've just gotten used to it. It's never easy, but I don't think that's ever going to change. I remember meeting Courtney Cox, and realizing even at her level that she's still dealing with the same stuff that I'm dealing with at my level. And so
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that really kind of put things in perspective and like, oh, I think that if I land this job or if I do this or if, you know, some project that I'm in is like successful enough that it's going to be easier. And the truth is that it's not. It never is. So, yeah, it's just part of the job is that the uncertainty, the knowing how to create in those moments so that you can continue to feel like you're actually doing something fulfilling and that you're working towards your goal still, even in those moments where it doesn't feel like you're working.
definitely. I think you nailed it on the head by saying about being creative in other ways. I've heard from a lot of people of finding other passions that they really love and spending time with family and friends and just doing things that give them joy. That is so helpful in those moments.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to dreams, it often feels solitary, even if so many people have that same dream. I think reminding ourselves that we're not alone, that there are other people going through that journey too.
Yeah.
Surrounding ourselves with people and human connection is very important. And in terms of dreams, I mean, being on Broadway was one of your big ones and you're living it. I'm wondering what other things are on your dream list, whether it's something big like performing in a certain venue or doing something random like learning how to cook a certain meal or skydiving or something like that.
You know what I really wanna learn? I wanna learn how to juggle, literally juggling. I don't know why I think that that is so cool when someone can juggle, and I've always wanted to, and I've tried learning. I actually tried learning while I was shooting my last movie in Spain. Because we had, like, lemons on the boat, and so in between scenes, I would, like, try and practice, but it's really hard. So,
It
anyway,
is.
one day I'll learn. And in terms of, like, professional things that I wanna do, oh my god, there's so much. There's so much. One of my biggest dreams, if not my biggest, was to be on Broadway, and so I'm living it right now, and I'm literally the happiest I think I've ever been. And, another dream that kinda goes hand in hand with that would be to perform at the Tonys. So I'm, like, hoping that the show gets nominated so that we can perform. That literally is, like, because for me growing up, it was less the Oscars, it was, like, more the Tonys were a bigger deal for me. So that is the ultimate, I think, bucket list thing that I would love to do.
Well, I'm definitely manifesting because I know there's already a lot of buzz. I did see a news clip where they had some Broadway experts on and they were talking about the new season and all the new shows and giving their hot takes. They all kind of said about Titanique being best new musical. So
I
let's
mean
see.
it's I'm biased, right? Because I'm in it, but it's such a good show, and I
It
think
is.
the story of the show, the story of 3 friends starting it in a basement 10 years ago, and then it kind of slowly growing until this moment is so inspiring, really,
Yeah,
for creators out there, for anyone with a dream, and I don't know. I think what we have is pretty special, and I would nominate the show.
agreed. And I think there's something so fitting about that too. I mean, the show keeps finding new life just when you think it's done, like it's brought back to life, which is really incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
And in terms of the music for the show, I'm wondering what your favorite Celine Dion song is.
I remember having in, like, my first ever MP3 player, um, before the iPod existed. Like, I had, like, a little egg-looking thing that looked like a Tamagotchi. And I would download songs and I could fit, I don't know, like 20 songs. And I remember always having, Because You Loved Me on there
Yeah,
and, It's All Coming Back to Me.
heavy
I
hitters. Those
love
are two big ones.
Yeah, yeah. And It's All Coming Back to Me is not in the show,
Yeah, I
but
know.
the other one is.
And speaking of music, you once put together a Spotify playlist for Cosmo, and the first song on it was "Bring It All Back" by S Club. As someone
Yes.
who loved S Club growing up, but was teased for it, where were you? I needed to back up.
Wait,
But
what? Where was I?
yeah, I needed backup. I needed someone else who loved S Club. I was the only one in my class.
Oh, wait, did it was a S Club was huge in Mexico, where at least where I'm from, it was huge.
See, I should have been in
'Cause
Mexico. That's what it was.
yeah, I mean, I used to like, I remember having sleepovers with my friends, and playing S Club. Like we would
Yeah,
assign roles and we would like sing to their song. Like really one of my most listened to CDs I think ever.
same. Did you watch the show too?
Yes. Well, I feel like that's the reason that I became obsessed because
Yeah.
I felt like I knew them, you know?
Yep.
It was so good. And I just thought it was
It
so
was good.
cool and they were all so hot and like they were friends and it was kind of like a mixed Spice Girls to me. It
Yeah.
felt like that with like the personalities of like all of them and how they dressed them and it was just I thought they were the coolest thing ever. I remember where I was when I saw the video that they would show on I think it was Nickelodeon. Was it Nickelodeon?
It was one of those channels, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember seeing Don't Stop, Never Give Up. What's the name of that song? Don't stop,
Bring it all
never
back.
give up. Bring it. Oh yeah, let's bring it all back.
Yeah.
Right, of course. I remember watching that and I was on the couch and I remember leaning forward and like going and sitting on the coffee table and like watching it close to the TV because I was like, what is this? Who are they? And I was just obsessed, obsessed.
It's amazing too because those songs, a lot of them are so inspirational and positive and really about chasing a dream. I mean, between that and Reach, both of
Oh,
those songs are really
yeah.
about that. And so it's incredible to hear that being such a song that kind of called to you at a younger age and you're living dreams and you're making them happen. So I think that's just a beautiful full circle moment. And you're doing a job also that has a lot of music. So I'm wondering for you, when you take on a role, are you someone who creates playlists for your characters, or are there certain songs that call to you that kind of get you in that zone?
No, not really. I'm not a playlist maker. Um, for this particular for this particular job, I have been listening to a lot of Celine Dion, obviously, and because it's just like her songs are so iconic, like every single one. And like it's amazing if you think about it how her songs are so popular. Like
Yeah.
even if you're not a Celine Dion fan, you know at least 10 of her songs. Because they were just the soundtrack of, like, the '90s, I guess, the '90s,
Yeah.
2000s. So, I've been listening to a lot of Celine, but I canceled all my music listening apps, so I only listen to whatever I own now. Um, and for this job, I just watched the movie. I watched the movie with my husband because I hadn't seen Titanic since probably I'm gonna say, like, when I was 14 was the last time that I saw it. So, I hadn't seen it and it was so funny because my husband was like, "We should watch it." I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna be so long, isn't it?" Like, because I remember it was 2 VHS. It was
Yes.
like 2 cassettes, the movie, because it was so long.
Yep.
And we watched it, and my husband knew every beat of the movie. He
Wow.
remembered, like, I guess he was obsessed with it, but he would be like, "Oh, no, no, and now he's gonna enter, and he's gonna look at them, and they're gonna say this." And I'm like, "What? How do you remember this?" He knows it perfectly. And then my sister-in-law came to the opening, and she was like, "Yeah, we were obsessed with it. We would watch it all the time. We went to the theater like 7 times to see it." And I was like, "Oh, that makes sense now. It makes sense."
That's amazing, and it really does enhance the experience. Because I think the same for me, I hadn't seen it in years, and the night before I saw the show, I watched the movie, and it just makes every joke land, like, so much
I
harder.
know, I know.
It's just perfect, like, everything lines up where you're like, "Oh my gosh, I see what they did there." Because some of them are subtle,
Yeah,
but it's in between the big jokes that you don't need to know anything,
yeah,
and so, like, for me, I was just smiling the entire time, like, I
yeah,
never stopped smiling.
yeah. Yeah, I definitely recommend like I told my mom, watch it before because you'll have fun no matter what. It doesn't matter. The first time that I saw Titanic off Broadway 3 years ago or so, I hadn't seen the movie. And I like you vaguely know, you vaguely remember, but all the specifics, the Easter eggs, everything, if you just saw the movie, it just makes it that much more delicious to see
It
and
does.
to laugh at everything.
Yeah, and there's so much. There's so many jokes in it. There's so many like little moments between characters. Um, and it's funny to see the balance between what I would imagine is the actual script and some of the ad-libbing. That's really fun, and I know
Right.
some of the jokes probably are ever changing. What is that like for you performing in that and not knowing what to expect half the time with some of the jokes?
Honestly, it's so fun. It keeps me on my toes because I know every night there's going to be some silliness happening, and I I just have a blast. Like I'm literally having so much fun every night on that stage. I still to this day, I mean, we've had how many shows now with previews? We did 3 weeks of previews and now we did 10 shows. So what it's been like a month of shows now. And I still every time the overture starts, I get excited and I can't wait to start. It's that kind of show. And I think and what I've heard at the stage door for like when I meet people of the audience, they say like, "It looks like you're having so much fun up there, and it makes it, like, so enjoyable to watch." And I'm like, "We are. It's real. We're not pretending to have fun. We, like, actually are." It's such a great group of people. I feel so, so lucky.
You can definitely feel that energy. There's like just a brightness and a positivity and like you said, fun and joy that's on that stage and it exists in the room and I feel like it stays with people after, which is definitely needed right now and very important, and I think it just is a testament to live theater also and kind of the relationship with the audience and each other and how things are ever changing and anything can happen. But everything ranges from live theater, you've done movies, you've done series. What's one piece of advice you think you would give to your younger self in Monterey, and what piece of advice would your younger self maybe give to you?
Ooh, I love that. I think what I would say to my younger self is just, like, trust God, because He is gonna take care of you. Like, trust yourself, obviously, like, don't doubt the choices that you make because you're gonna make your dreams come true, but it'll happen in an unexpected way, so just trust. That's what I would say. And if she could give me advice, ooh, I think she'd probably say I get emotional. I think she would probably say, like, "Never doubt your value."
I think it's a very important piece of advice that everyone kind of needs to remind themselves of. I'm still kind of trying to remind myself that all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not always easy. It's reminding yourself of your value and what you bring to the table and your uniqueness and how important that is. And it's a process and it's a roller coaster most of the time and
Yeah.
brings a lot of emotions. And I think emotions, come into play in a lot of live theater and especially in some of the roles you played. In your monster, I mean, you got to weaponize both rage and song. Uh, Having trained in musical theater at NYU, has your singing background changed the way you physically and emotionally prepare for roles that both are and aren't musicals?
How has my vocal background?
Yeah, your training, like, prepared you for roles that are both musical and not.
I mean, I think all my training has mostly served me in discipline and like being a disciplined professional. Um, because I think discipline can get you very far, even without talent. You can work at something so much that you get good at it, even if it doesn't come easy to you. And that's discipline. And that's, like staying on something. And yeah, I think I have like a regimen of work ethic that I'm proud of and that I think has served me so far in every single thing that I've done because I like to be prepared and I like to come in and not be the cause of any delays, of any stress to anyone. Like, I want people to want to work with me again and to love working with me. And I think that that comes from being disciplined and just being like responsible and professional.
Absolutely, and I think that discipline is also important of taking care of yourself. I mean, having to get the appropriate rest or take care of your voice, I know is huge in live theater because
I'm
you're
learning a
performing 8 times
lot
a
of
week.
that. I'm learning about that because I remember I used to I mean, I did musical theater in Mexico. 10 years ago was the last time that I was on stage in Mexico.
Wow,
Um, and I don't remember doing much to take care of my voice. It felt I in all fairness, I wasn't doing 8 shows a week because in Mexico, you don't do that. Mexico is usually just Thursday through Sunday. So that makes it easier. You have more days to rest and recover, which in on Broadway you have 1 day, which is doesn't ever feel like enough. But I feel like maybe I was just younger. I don't know. But now that I'm here with the crazy weather that New York is giving us, crazy temperature changes, the pollen that is killing, and everyone has terrible allergies. I've like picked up a few tips from other people that have done this for longer to just, keep your vocal cords moisturized and have this like thing now. It's like with saline solution and you kind of it's like a vape, but it's like not a vape. It's like I feel like I'm vaping. I'm not a smoker or a vapor or anything, so it feels weird to me to be like inhaling steam, but it's good for the vocal cords. Doing warm water or tea. I was actually an herbalist recommended that I drink sage tea, and I've been drinking that and it's been incredible. I'm also a psycho and I will eat ginger, raw ginger, like an apple. I will just like chomp at it and that has also been great.
Wow.
I also eat garlic. Yeah, I'm like doing all the natural things so that I can cuz it's a lot of usage. It's a lot of vocal usage that I'm not used to.
Yeah.
Um but luckily I have a lot of people around me that are giving me tips and always helping out.
Which is great because, yeah, I know it could be killer on your vocal cords. I know a lot of times you would do conventions and lose your voice by the second day.
Oh my god,
So,
remember that?
yeah,
That happened once, but I think it was because I mean, it was I think my second ever convention, so I also wasn't used to that much talking, but it was freezing in that warehouse that we
yeah,
were in. And I think that's what actually killed me. So right now, New York decided that it's not spring yet and it went back to winter.
it did.
So I'm like, I'm wearing my blue scarf everywhere I go and just trying to, be take care of my body and not be cold because that will I think literally that's the worst thing.
Yeah, it is, and I think the weather is also affecting how buildings manage their systems. Because both in where I live and also my job, they have not transitioned to the AC yet, even when it was very hot because they knew it was gonna get freezing again and it could break stuff, so it's a whole thing, but we're adjusting. And,
Yeah.
in terms of your career, you played a lot of women who refused to be victims, whether it's Sam, Joey, Vanessa, Liv. What's the internal "nope, not today" switch that you flip when a script tries to make your character passive? And how do you incorporate your own spirit into each character?
I feel like I'm usually attracted to the roles that are the women that don't take the bullshit, that they're the ones that they're survivors, they're fighters. Um And that's what I'm, like, drawn to because I play a lot of them, and I had a friend tell me, like, "Do you realize that you're always playing these kinds of roles?" And I was like, "Oh my god, you're right. What does that mean?" And I mean, I'm like that in my life, but I also think that I love badass women, and I know a lot of them. I have a lot of them in my life. And it's inspirational to watch. So I feel like I try to be very intentional in the kinds of characters that I like lend my body to and my face. And so I want positive messaging out there. I want little girls to see these characters and to have like good examples to yeah. So I don't think I've ever gotten a script and been like, that's passive. Let's change it. Because I also feel like if I were to play a character that is passive, there's like a reason for it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Laura in Your Monsters starts off as like passive and she's kind of letting life happen to her until she takes control of it. So if there's a reason for the journey, then I'm fine with it. I don't ever ask to like change something because like no. I respect writers too much. I think that there's when you have good writing, there's a reason for the nuances, and there's a reason for the character arc, and there's a reason that it starts in one place and ends up in another.
Absolutely, and I think the same is true. I mean, you were mentioning Laura, the same is kind of true for your version of Rose, because even though there's a lot of jokes about her privilege or intelligence or whatever it may be, she also takes a stand where she's deciding something for herself and trying to take control of her own life, which is huge for her story arc.
Yeah. Yeah. And she starts off, wanting to end her life. She's like that miserable. And by the end of our version of Titanic, she's completely turned her life around, and she's found a reason to keep living. And she has found love, and she's dared to defy the societal standards, norms, whatever. Her mother, she's like living for herself for the first time. And so I think that's beautiful.
And it's beautiful to see too, amidst all the comedy, because especially without giving away the ending, there is a happier ending to the show. So it's really nice to see that arc kind of have a resolution that's different from the one in the movie.
Yeah.
But in terms of stories and kind of resolutions, what do you think is one story about love, identity, or family that you feel Hollywood just isn't telling authentically or getting right and makes you want to be the one to maybe write or direct that?
Well, I love graphic movies, and I've always and one of my best friends is gay, and I she always gives me the best recommendations of books, movies, what to watch. I just find the love between two women beautiful, and I think that most things that are out there have like sad endings or there's
Yeah,
some kind of tragedy, and so I feel like we need happy lesbian content with happy endings,
agreed.
and so I'm gonna make it
Yeah, I know you've been working on that script. So I'm curious, what has that process been like for you?
amazing. um yeah, I I love writing. I don't write a lot, but I love writing, and when I do, I feel very inspired, and I love sitting on my computer, even if I'm just staring at a blank page, because I'm formulating, I'm creating this world, and I'm hearing the characters talk in my head, and then I'm, switching little things, and I have this whole vision, and so it gets me very excited. And then it's also exciting when you like share that and people love it. And and so I'm hopeful that I'll be able to make it soonish, meaning, time is relative, but like soonish in like the next year or two. um cuz yeah, it's just I can't wait for the feeling of like something that like I made up in my head, seeing it like come to life. Like I can't imagine like how satisfying that will feel.
Well, I'm manifesting that. I think your
Yeah.
career is proof that when you dream it and have your heart and passion in it, it ends up coming true. So it's
Yeah.
just a matter of time, like you said. And, in terms of being part of live theater now, what do you think is one thing that still terrifies you in the best way possible when you're performing? And how does it compare to the controlled chaos of a film set?
I mean, it doesn't I don't think it terrifies me, but I do get nervous. Just the fact that it's live, like you're going out there and things can go wrong, and you just kind of have to keep going and figure it out. Um so it's exciting. It's not terrifying. I don't find anything terrifying, I don't think. When it's different to a film set, it's so different. It's so different. And, both all three mediums, like film, TV, and theater, like are I love doing, I enjoy. But there's a magic to theater that just comes from the live performance. I'm always in awe. I love watching theater because I'm always in awe of all the hands, all the people that are there to make it happen so that you're able to enjoy this show. There's so many people behind the scenes. There's like musicians in the pit. There's months and months and months of work and prep, and there's just and it all, and then it's all happening right in front of your eyes live. And I just think that that's incredible. I love being able to see it, and I love being able to be a part of it, and to give people that gift of like a live performance. And, especially nowadays in this increasingly crazy dark world, in a show like ours, Titanique is just joy. So I think we want that. We want people to come in and feel lighter when they leave, feel happier.
I do think that's working too. I mean, everyone that walks out of there just has the biggest smile on their face and can't stop talking about it or raving about it. And, you say about how live theater sometimes things can go wrong. And I think with Titanique, sometimes it's to its advantage. Like it can make moments funnier. I
Right?
know there was an incident with an eggplant flying into the crowd.
Oh,
So
yeah. I mean, it all, I remember because I love going to see shows, and whenever something feels like it's happening just for you, just in this show, like you're getting to witness something unique, I love that feeling. So I think that you're right. Like little things that happen differently in the show can make the audience feel even more special because they got to be there on that day that that thing happened, you know?
yeah, and I think it also gives kind of space for Titanique and the changing jokes and the energy on each night to kind of help make it unique every night too. I mean, live theater in general is going to be unique every night, but then I think this show kind of adds to that even more in a very special way where, you could talk to someone who saw the show weeks later and talking about the joke that you heard and you're like, "Oh wait, no, they said this joke instead." And you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I missed that one." And you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I kind of want to go again and see what joke they tell this time."
Yeah. We had one day recently, um, I think it was maybe Sunday night, that when I chop Connie's hand off, there's a scream. There's like a sound effect of a really loud, high pitched scream. And it didn't go. It didn't happen. And we were both dying laughing. And anyway, we continued, and then at the end in the stage door, a guy that I was signing his playbill, he was like, "Oh my god." He was like, "You chopped his hand off so bad that he couldn't even scream, he couldn't make a sound." And he obviously had seen the show before,
Yeah.
and so he enjoyed getting to witness the sound didn't go off, and so we had to, like, figure out what to do, and it made us both break a little bit. And so, it's those kinds of things that only happen in live theater, and that's why it's magical.
True. It really is, and I feel like the show itself just has a lot of magic throughout the script, the performances, the songs, the jokes, like all of it, from top to bottom. And, going from such a fun and magical and very lighthearted but beautiful kind of storyline and experience, and I think in terms of your own career, I think there's a lot of lessons and advice you've given to others and shared in different interviews. And so I'm wondering what's the single biggest, I wish someone had told me this earlier lesson that you've learned about holding creative power and that you wish kind of every other creative person would know?
I don't know. I guess there's a lot of fear, I think, in a lot of us, of like trying something that we have technically no experience in, or going into a new medium, or and usually it's like fear that stops us from doing it. And I think I wish everybody just went for it, because I think the people that do go for it, and like me, I'm like, I'm going to write a script. I'm not a writer, but I think I can do it. I've read enough scripts that I feel like I can do it. And I was it was in 2020 when I started writing my first script. I was 30 years old, and I wish I had started sooner. Like, why didn't I? You know?
Yeah.
Like, now that I wanna direct, and hopefully I'll direct one of my scripts, I'm like, why didn't I direct before? Like, why didn't I direct an episode of Vida? Like, that could have been cool. And I shadowed a director. I think I actually tried to direct and they didn't let me. But I wish I'd fought harder to have that experience sooner, even though I was, like, scared. I was like, "Oh, I'm not prepared. I don't." Yeah, you figure it out. That's the way that you learn. So, I guess that's it. Just, like, go for it.
Yeah, which I think is important because fear can often hold us back from figuring out what we're actually capable of.
Yeah.
Well, I have a fun little game of Would You Rather.
Mhm.
So my questions are going to be Titanic themed, but would you rather have Celine Dion burst in and narrate your entire real life career in song,
Lord.
or have to deliver every line of the show every night, while Jim Parsons as Ruth keeps photobombing you with dramatic sighs.
I mean, I would do anything with Jim. I love Jim so much. But I think I would love it if actually Marla Mandel as Celine Dion narrated my whole life. I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah, I think I have to
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Would you rather be Rose trying to stay serious during the entire show while the cast goes into full chaos mode? Or play the iceberg and steal every scene with dance breaks?
I mean, I would love to play the iceberg.
It's a very fun role.
Yes, and that is what Leighton does. He steals every single day.
Would you rather fight off Cal and Ruth in a flooded first class cabin? Or have Frankie Grande's Victor Garber character give you unsolicited acting notes the entire time?
Oh my god. Um, I think just because Frankie is so hilarious, I would love to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, you know what? Me too. I'd be very
Yeah,
curious.
yeah.
And last one, would you rather star in a musical called Angelina Ballerina about a ballerina vampire or a musical called Mamma Maria?
I'm gonna say Mama Maria, just because it sounds like Mamma Mia, and I feel like that would be fun. Take me to Greece.
It would be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Looking at your path from singing in a duo as a teenager to becoming one of the most in demand genre stars, who's also writing her own material, what's the moment you realized that you weren't just chasing roles anymore, but kind of building your own table?
Um, I didn't I didn't realize it. I noticed that if I didn't create my own opportunities, if I didn't seek them out, that I wasn't going to be working as much, and I'm a workaholic. So I I think it's a necessity to kind of create your own lane in this business, especially as a Latina. And so I think that you just have to create your own opportunities. You can't be just waiting for someone to hand you a job or to pick you, because the system is built a certain way, and we if we want to change it, we kind of have to build a parallel one.
And I think that's an important lesson to remember, because kind of creating it for yourself is, I think, part of the magic in any space, no matter the industry you're in, but especially in this one. And so, my last two questions are: where do you find magic in the world and in your life, and how do you hope to create magic for others?
I mean, I think the world is full of magic. Literally, anywhere you look, you can find it. I love seeing my dogs every morning when I wake up. I think that's magic. They're perfect. I love going on a walk and like seeing birds. I love seeing kindness when someone's being kind to another person, when someone goes out of their way to help. I there's the world is full of magic if we literally just if you look anywhere, you can find something that you're like, wow, that's cool. We live in this. I literally I shared this on my story the other day, where it was basically like a list of things that we live in a world where this happens, where like a whale song can travel like hundreds of miles, and where I forget what where like if lightning strikes a beach, it creates like crystals, where like all the list of like things that are like incredible about like this world that we live in, and it just served like as a reminder of like, yeah, it's pretty magical. Life is magical. What was the other question?
How do you hope to create magic for others?
Oh, well, um I hope to continue to do what I do, because I think it is one of the most magical professions out there. We get to tell stories, we get to um, make people feel seen and less alone. And I think that that's my little granito de arena that I give to the world, just in in being a storyteller.
And I think it's very obvious you're succeeding in that. Um, you are creating a lot of magic in all that you do, both on and off the stage, and sharing parts of yourself and putting your heart in everything that you do. And the passion comes through, and the love for others and the world comes through. So thank you for sharing your magic. Um, I want to thank you for being on. Of course, it's an honor to have you. And just in terms of all the talents you have a lot and you keep showing off new ones. I think one that maybe is understated and I hope you're aware of is that you have the ability to see people and see them very well. You once told me a couple years ago that I deserve to be among the people I admire. And it kind of stopped me in my tracks because a, I wasn't fully aware of that desire or that feeling or belief in myself. But B, I was like, how did she see me so clearly? Because I've never said something specifically along those lines. And it has stuck with me in times where I've doubted myself, especially getting this podcast off the ground. So thank you for that. Thank you for not only seeing people, but sharing what you see. I think it's a gift that you have.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for having me. Congratulations
Thank you.
on this podcast. I'm so excited and I know that the rest of the Titanique guests are going to be incredible.
Yeah, I'm very excited to share more of the show and everyone on it because it's such an awesome, beautiful, joyous show and very well needed. And before we wrap up, I always kind of end the show by telling everyone out there listening to go out there and do some magic. But I was wondering if you would do the honors. You would just say your name and then say everyone listening, go out there and do some magic.
Okay. Hi, I'm Elisa Barrera, and to everyone out there listening, get out there and do some magic.
You heard her. And go see Titanique on Broadway
Yes,
through July.
come see us. We're
Till next
waiting.
time, everybody.
Thank you.